Item 1, PA 18510 Samuels Road. We're going to take 1 and 2 together, by the way. To amend the comprehensive land use plan from agricultural rural to employment center located at the east side of Samuels Road, south of Mount Pleasant. Zachary Road, Council District 1, Knoll. Commission action, motion to approve, carried 7-0. Item 2, case 7-25-18510 Samuels Road, rezoned property from rural to light industrial M1 located on the east side of Samuels Road, south of Mount Pleasant, Zachary Road, Council District 1, Knoll. Commission action, motion to approve, carried 7-0. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. I understand there's a request by the applicant to defer until the July meeting. Motion by the chair to do so, second by Councilman Dunn Jr. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, there's a request to defer this one as well to September 17th. Case 2-25-8125 Jefferson Highway to rezone property from transition B1 to light commercial 1 located on the north side of Jefferson Highway, south of Brandon Drive. Council District 11, Adams. Commission motion to approve failed 4-4. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, go to council. Motion to defer. Second by motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilwoman Amorosa. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, case 9-259550 Donaldale Avenue to rezone property from heavy commercial C2 to commercial alcoholic beverage restaurant CAB1 located on south side of Donaldale Avenue, east of North Interstate Drive. Council District 11, Adams. Commission motion to approve, carried 7-0. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? All right, there's a representative here if anybody needs questions answered. Seeing no one else, any council, any
Would you like to go ahead and just come up for a minute? Tell us about your business.
Yeah, so it's a pretty vibrant business. We opened an indoor pickleball facility in Baton Rouge. We partnered with Celtic Studios. As you know, there was room for opportunity to be able to have an indoor facility here in Baton Rouge, and especially with partnering with Breck and Visit BR and bringing in a lot of different people to be able to play an indoor sport like that. It's been pretty cool, and something that our customers have been talking about is being able to consume alcoholic beverages. And right now, currently, the zoning does not allow us to do that. So wanted to go through the correct motions and channels to be able to do it. That's the reason why I'm here representing the business, to be able to do so.
And so what's the name of your business?
Stacks Pickleball.
And what days and hours are you open?
Yeah, so we're open Sunday, every single day of the week, except for Sunday morning. We're not open during the morning. But it's normal operations, so from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., with most of our customers coming between the hours of 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the majority of, I'd say 80% of the business is during that time.
Well,
Yep.
that is awesome. Welcome to District 11. We're excited that you're located in such a great place, and looking forward to visiting and learning more about y'all.
Yeah,
So just
it's a
wanted
lot of fun.
everybody in here to hear about it. I thought it's a cool concept.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve, please.
motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilwoman Amorosa. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, item 5, there are a lot of requests to speak. Just to remind everybody, the way we handle these items, we're going to have the applicant speak and present on what the project is. Then we'll have proponents of the project speak, then opponents will speak, and then the applicant will have a 3-minute rebuttal as well. So item 5, case 10-25-6263 and 6777 Comey Drive to rezone property from heavy commercial C2 and single-family residential A1 to single-family residential A2.7, located on the north side of Comey Drive, east of Plank Road, Council District 2, Kenny. Commission action, motion to approve, carried 6-0. Is the applicant here for this?
Good evening. My name is George McCallum with J-Bro Enterprises, the developer for Stillwater subdivision. This is a proposed to be a 235 lot subdivision on the 90 acre tract that is currently there. It is zoned two different ways right now. It is zoned A1, and there is a corner on the southwest corner that is commercial. And with that, we're looking to rezone it to A2.7. We're going to develop, the majority of the property is going to be on the left, the western side of it. The eastern side is more in the floodway, closer to White Bayou. So that's all going to be a lot of green space. We'll probably have more than 4 times the required green space because we're using it to oversize the pond, help out with stormwater retention, and provide just a lot of green space. And I do have my engineer here to speak on our behalf too with any technical questions.
Thank you. We also have wishing to speak in favor of Lance Robichaux. Is that the engineer?
Yes, I'm the engineer. I can answer the question.
So when it gets to the council, if there's questions, we can call you up, but if you have something, do you have something you want to state beforehand?
No, I can
Okay.
say.
Okay, we're gonna move to, anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this project? Okay, we're gonna go to opposition. I have Kimberly Leap.
Good afternoon, council members and staff. My name is Kimberly Leap, and I've lived on Comey Drive since 1997. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of the residents who live on and around Comey Drive and in the Brentwood Place subdivision. Yesterday, I emailed each of you a petition signed by many of our neighbors asking you to vote against the rezoning of 6263 and 6777 Comey Drive from A1 to A2.7. This area was zoned A1 for a reason. It's rural, low density, and not designed for the kind of development that is being proposed. Rezoning to A2.7 would allow smaller lots and much more intense development that would permanently change the character of our current community. Let me be clear, we're not against growth, we're against irresponsible growth. Our roads, drainage, and public services just aren't equipped to handle this kind of density. We already deal with flooding, and adding more rooftop and concrete will only make it worse. First, the drainage. Our area already struggles with flooding during heavy rains. In 2016, water from White's Bayou inundated many of our homes. Increasing the rooftops and pavement without a solid drainage plan feels like we're setting ourselves up for disaster. Traffic. Comey Drive is a 2-lane road with a center lane, turning lane. Unfortunately, many people use this as a passing lane. The speed limit is 45 miles per hour, but it often feels more like a racetrack. It's already dangerous, and we're worried that more homes will only make things worse, especially during school hour and rush hour. The infrastructure. Our fire protection comes from a volunteer fire department. Our water and sewer systems are already stretched thin, and nearby we have vacant shopping centers and empty buildings. That doesn't suggest this area is ready for more high-density development. And schools. Public schools in this area are struggling. Based on the 2023 report card, nearby schools range from a B down to an F, an average rating of a D. With that in mind, we have to ask, who exactly is this subdivision for, and what benefits would this new subdivision bring to families if families can't rely on quality public education? Once again, we are not against growth, but we are against growth that puts families at risk and overwhelms the systems we all rely on. We're asking you to vote no on this rezoning. Please listen to the people who live here. Protect our communities from incompatible development. Thank you for your time and for listening to our concerns. Please vote no.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Angela Creel.
Hi, my name is Angela Creel. I live at 8757 Comey Drive, and I've lived there approximately 25 years. When I saw the rezoning sign, I went in and I did research. That's how I wanted to approach it. My feelings aside on the property of what I would like it to stay, what I would like the land to be, of course, it's rural looking, rural area. I want it to just stay that way, but I know that's not practical. I know we have growth coming, and I know this is a large area of land. So I looked at it. I drove around to other neighborhoods that had these type of subdivision built. I looked at them. I looked at the future BR plans. I looked at, I went online and I looked at all of the districts, the zoning. And what I came to learn was that we have no 2.7 zones anywhere in our vicinity. We're on acreage. We also have subdivisions, but they're larger subdivisions. They're established. They've been there for a long time. The property in question has at least a 10-acre pond that was dug on the property before. So when speaking with the developers, they said they were going to use this pond as a retainage pond for the subdivision, and they would mediate any damage that was done while there was a sand and gravel pit operate there in a residential area, and they would, mediate that. But for them to be successful in building affordable housing and to be able to sell these lots, they would need to, and their profit, they would need to build at least 235 lots on this property to be able to recoup. So I tried to, reason with them in conversations and said, can we go down? Can we go 109 lots is what Leland Lakes was proposed at. They said, no, it would not be feasible. So I said, we're for growth. We understand. Let's bring some people in. Let's have barbecues, block parties. We're all for that. But don't bring in 235 homes on a property that has, a past, and the future that we want for it is for anyone to come to purchase homes on this property to be able to live there and to not be in fear of it flooding or a swath of other issues that I could go into my feelings on. But the facts is that there is no A2.7 homes in this area, subdivisions in this area. And if the developer could go in and he has a hypothesis of all these great plans, everything, all of information he put in, but he can't show us it. You can't do a trial run. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. All right, we have opposed but not wishing to speak: Christine Sullivan, Ben Creel, Carolyn Shield. We have an opposition wishing to speak: Philip DeNicola.
Good afternoon, guys and girls. I've lived on Klein Drive, which is right off of Comet, since 1982. Been there about 43 years. Raised my kids there, sent my kids to private schools. My lot is 2.5 acres, and most everybody on my street is from 2.5 to 4 acres, maybe 6. And these houses that are y'all trying to put in there, or they are, is going to be jammed up right on next to each other. I paid $2,416 for flood insurance this year. Is that property in a flood zone? Is the property in a flood zone?
Sir, it's public comments for us.
A portion of it. And they say it's going to go down, but it's continually gone up since I've purchased about 15 or 16 years ago. So I am totally against this piece of property putting anything on it, really, but they already have a permit for the 109 houses. And I would like y'all to vote no on this. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next, in opposition, wishing to speak is Will Campbell.
Good afternoon, City Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem. First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life. My name is Will Campbell. I'm a resident at 8344 Comet Drive. I'm also a 30-year banker. Been working here in Baton Rouge for many years. My family and I have been living there for 22 years, and I want to make this very, very clear that we're not opposed to development, but it has to be the right type of development. It's already zoned A1, which you can do 4 houses per acre, and they want to change it to A2 to do 7 houses per acre, and we just think that's going to change the character and the density of the neighborhood. So I do oppose this. We want you guys to please vote no in passing this on the docket today. And I just want to say this too, we have a lot of individuals that have been staying in this community a long time. We have over 355 residents have signed a petition to say they oppose this development. So thank you so very much. We honor, we respect everybody here, but I hope that you will vote no on this today.
Thank you. We have, anyone else here wishing to speak in opposition? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Deborah Pearson? Okay, you didn't indicate whether you were opposed or in favor, so I was gonna have you last, but
No problem.
please.
I am opposed. I'm a more recent resident. I moved there, bought the house right before 2016, didn't know what was coming. But most of my neighbors flooded, and most of them rebuilt. We really have a very good neighborhood, and we met each other really very recently because of this development, most of us. It's a very mixed neighborhood, all ages, young families, older people, all kinds of folks. I may be a wildlife educator and a wildlife person by nature, but I'm not a Pollyanna. I do understand that this property is going to be developed, no problem. But what's being proposed is shaking everybody to their core because it doesn't seem well thought out. The flood protection doesn't seem adequate. The pond is full now. How is that going to protect us? We don't feel safe. We've had engineers look at it. We've had zoning people look at it, and they've all agreed. Our fire department doesn't like it. They think it's going to lower our fire rating. Most people that are opposed to it are also worried about their property values. And we're also worried about it becoming somewhat vacant and the homes being purchased by speculators, because there's many similar developments going up around the parish, and quite a few of them in the same area. There's a couple of them in Baker. There's one on Hooper Road. This kind of price range, $230,000 to $250,000. Mostly that's going to be people with kids. Why would they move and buy this property in a poor school area when they can buy the same priced home in a good school area like Zachary or Central? So we're very afraid of what's going to happen down the road. When the developer packs up and leaves, they've made their money, they're gone. And we, the citizens of East Baton Rouge, then we have to deal with the problems afterwards. And while we all might like trees and owls and coyotes, some of us, we know it's going to be developed. We just hope that you'll look at the plans carefully and look at the problems carefully. We've had a long history with this property of it bringing down the neighborhood really severely. It's been an eyesore and a problem. There's been a lot of violations. And we did bring it to the attention of our council person, and they ignored us for more than 2 years. So we're hoping this time around you give it a closer look. And we are very opposed to it. I don't know of any residents who aren't. And it's a very large area. So thanks for listening to us today. We appreciate the opportunity to do so. Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this project? Okay, we're gonna have the applicant offer you an opportunity for a 3-minute rebuttal.
Thank you very much. Yes, so we came in, we've talked with Councilman Kinney and the residents on a couple of different occasions, and we've explained our process, the process that is already set up through the parish that we have to adhere to. We have to do a design, drainage impact study, traffic impact study, and we have to prove to the parish and to the parish engineers that this development will not have any adverse effects on either the drainage or the traffic. If there are traffic impacts, then we'll have to mitigate them. We've done the preliminary calculations to show that the drainage will have a significant reduction in stormwater runoff because we do have an existing pond over there. To the point of the pond, the residents have expressed a lot of concern that it was a safety issue, that it's been a problem for them for a long time. We were not part of the previous use of the property, but we do want to come in, make use of the property, make use of that existing pond, build up the banks and provide an additional amount of storage, beyond what is required. So it will help the area with the drainage. Is it going to prevent another 2016 flood from happening? Absolutely not. I was in Livingston Parish at the time and I felt it, so I do know what it feels like to go through that process. We don't want that to happen, but we can't control a flood event of that magnitude. We've kind of talked again with the traffic. This would provide an additional access to the subdivision to our north. We feel that it would be a benefit to them. In fact, the subdivision to the north has a street stubbed out already. So it was anticipated that this would always come to fruition at some point in the future. We've also talked about the water system and being able to provide a looped water system through our neighborhood into the other neighborhood, an additional source of water, additional capacity to fight a fire. We think that those are, pretty strong benefits to the neighboring community. I feel like it's kind of come down to, an affordable housing situation versus the personal preference. They understand that it's going to be developed, but they don't want this. A2 zoning allows for 4 houses per acre. The way we're developing this property, we're coming in at 2.6 houses per acre. So that's, that's a reduction in what's available to us right now. And as far as the affordable part of it, a larger lot per East Baton Rouge Parish standards, we still have to provide a curb and gutter street. We still have to provide drainage. Our stormwater runoff would be the same on that larger lot versus this one. It's just a cost difference would go up significantly, like from 30 to 40,000 to a 140,000 plus piece of property.
Sir, that's your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna go to Councilman Kenny.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Noel. I don't think my fellow council members told me we are going to have that first zoning issue that's going to come within your first year. But first, I just want to say thank you to the Co-Meat Drive community, LCR George. I know we've been having a lot of productive conversations around this over the past couple months. I just want to say that on record. Thank you all for that. Before I get into my points, I'm going to bring up Mr. Ryan, if you want to come up real quickly. Ryan, talk to me a little bit about that pre-existing A1 zoning. Obviously, I was not here when that zoning was approved. Give everyone a little bit background and history around that zoning and currently, when it was approved and how it came to be.
Certainly, this property, the majority of it has been zoned A1 since 1957, since some of the first zoning maps for the city parish. There is a smaller C2 portion of the property, approximately 7.5 acres, but it's off on one side. But the majority of the tract is zoned A1. A1 allows 4.1 units per acre. It allows 10,500 square foot lots is what's required by the Unified Development Code. The zoning, and that's the matter this evening, is whether or not to rezone the property. There is a companion subdivision that's tentatively before the Planning Commission this coming Monday, but the item tonight, again, is just whether or not it's appropriate to rezone the property. From A1, there is a small portion of C2 to A2.7. A2.7 zoning is also a single-family residential zoning district, but it does allow 7.3 units per acre and does allow smaller lots, 6,000 square foot lots, instead of 10,500 square foot lots.
All right, thank you for that, Ryan. So one of the things I tell people, I've gotten my crash course in the UDC code around this entire issue. But one of the things, especially I talked to the Planning and Zoning Commission office, we have to be very careful. Even though it may pass the UDC minimum requirements, we have to make sure we're aligning with the characteristics of our community. As we have been having many various community conversations, various WebEx meetings between both sides as well, me and my office just want a better understanding to make sure this is a responsible development, council members. One of the things that definitely concerned me, I frequent this area very much a lot, is neighboring to my area in the Brownsfield community. And, I just want to make sure, we had the 2016 flood. It was devastating, right? You barely see anybody house it, White's Bayou. It's been a lot of things. A lot of people put the cart before the horse to make sure we're mitigating this flooding. And so as we've been talking to various people about this issue, right, various people who are very knowledgeable about type of developments, we just want to make sure we have responsible development at the end of the day. It's not about who's getting contracted out to do it. It's not about, who owns the land. It's about making sure this is consistent with the characteristics of this community. And so as Ryan talked about the A1 zoning, in that sense, we just want to make sure this is very responsible development. We had over 350 individuals who signed a petition to say this is not consistent with the characteristics of this community. I tell people as a council member, member, you know, I am responsible for the constituents and not developers. But we need to make sure our developers are having conversations with the community to make sure we are aligning with the characteristics of the community. Because I wouldn't want to build a 230 house, you know, development and they flood, the community floods based off it, right? And I'm not saying, you know, in good faith and bad faith, they're trying to ensure, you know, this does not flood, but, you know, we have to make sure we're aligning with the zoning. And so my ask, you know, with going forward with this tonight, that we make sure we have a prior zoning that's already done already, you know, let's work around that zoning. And so, you know, after conversing with constituents, my office and staff, it's clear that this proposal does not align with this community, point blank and clear. And so, given these concerns, given what the constituents have been saying, feedback, I'm able to support this rezoning. I want to make sure this community has a voice added. If 350 people has expressed this zoning would not be compatible with this community, we have to make sure we hear and have an open ear to that. And to George, Lance, we have had various conversations. I appreciate y'all for this process. And I want to invite y'all back as we asked before, you know, let's do something around A1. But I think this A2.7, it's a lot, and it's not compatible with existing lot sizes. And I want to make sure we're staying compatible with this community and not really force-feeding zoning into our community. Because one thing for me, I'm pro-development, right? I want new development in North Baton Rouge, but I need to make sure it's responsible development. And so with that being said, Council, I'll be making a motion to deny this rezoning request.
All right.
That's second.
Do you have a second? Okay.
I have a second.
Okay, Ryan, can I have a few questions? You said there's a plan that's been turned in, that's working its way through. Do you know, if you don't have it in front of you, do you know, is the access points for the subdivision coming from the southern end off of Comede?
There is, I don't have it before me, but I believe there's 2 access points off of Comede, and there is one required connectivity access through the existing subdivision to the north.
Okay. And that seems like that's probably the just looking at the map, that seems like the main entrances would be off of Comede. Looking at some of the properties that touch this property off of Comede where the main entrance would be, I was kind of looking at the map. The lot sizes on these properties are 5.157 acres, 2.064 acres, 2.5, 1.78, 2.61, 3.022, 3.31, 3.75, 2.98 acres, 2.08, 2.04, 2.73. These are all properties that are touching this development and are on the same road that the main entrance, or potentially multiple main entrances on Comede. These all front Comede and touch this property. So, you know, we're talking about the difference between A1, which will allow how many per acre, Ryan?
4.1 units per acre.
4.1 per acre to A2.7, which would allow
7.3.
7.3. Now, they said their proposal is 2.6 per acre. Even at 2.6 per acre, that's vastly different than the acreage that, you know, that you heard me talk about that are adjacent to this property. When you talk about character of the neighborhood, this is vastly different. Now, the neighborhood to the north that it would connect off of looks like that's some smaller areas, but again, the main entrance and where this fronts on Comede, it seems drastically different. And understanding that we have a zoning that as the councilman said, he thinks is more appropriate and fits better at A1, I would argue that this should probably be a rural and ag rural and a 1 acre minimum. If it were in my district, it would be, I guarantee it. And so I think, I think this is far too high density request at this zoning. And the reality is, even though, and this is not to say for the applicant or the engineer, I don't doubt in any way that what you're proposing, the 2.6, is accurate. But what I would caution Councilman Kenny, I know you're new to dealing with this, but my colleagues are probably well aware. just because somebody is proposing something, that doesn't matter when you rezone it. Once the zoning is in place, their deal could fall through, property could sell to somebody else, and somebody could come and put 7.3 per acre. Is that right, Ryan?
That's correct, Councilman.
So when you do zoning, you need to always think about what's the worst case scenario or the most intense probability within that zoning. If you can swallow that, then I say approve the zoning. If there's anything within that zoning that you say, ooh, that would be terrible, but at least the applicant's not telling me, that's what they're gonna do. It doesn't matter, because that property can change hands and the zoning stays with it, and that's what's important. That's how you should view zoning every single time. That's all I have. Thank you. Councilman Kennedy, you have anything else you want to add?
Just once again, and I just want to say on record as well, the decision that my office is making, we're making, is not based off on, who potentially be contracted out to, who the owner of the land. We just want to make sure the community stays consistent with the characteristic, like Councilman Noel said. But once again, thank you to the Comey community. Thank you, George. Thank you, Lance. The rest of your team as well. And hopefully as an olive branch, let's come back and see, can we do something A1 going forward. Thank you.
There's been a motion to deny by Councilman Kennedy, second by Councilwoman Coleman. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, case 11-25, 5570 and 5630 Winchester Avenue to rezone property from transition B1 to single-family residential A27, located on the east side of Winchester Avenue, north of Hollywood Street, Council District 5, Hearst. Commission action, motion to approve 7-0. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. Motion by Councilman Hurst. Second by Councilman Kennedy. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, PUD 1-25 Maple Cove concept plan to rezone from rural to planned unit development for proposed low-density, zero lot line residential on property located on the north side of Burbank Drive, west of Partula Avenue, Council District 12, Rocca. Commission action, motion to approve carried 6-0. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Council? I know Councilwoman Rocca's not here. Have you spoken with Councilwoman Rocca? Y'all know.
Yeah, Chad Stevens, MR Engineering, 9345 Interline. Yes, we have spoken to Ms. Rocca multiple times, as recently as yesterday. She was on board last night. She raised a little concern about a neighbor. We offered to put up a fence or do some trees in a common area that backs up to her. Otherwise, she has been in favor previously.
If she has any reservation, I'm gonna request a deferral if she's not here.
And again, with 6-0, 7-0 votes at the Planning Commission.
Yeah.
We've been through the plat process and the concept plan.
Good. Yeah. We're gonna have a 5-minute recess.
Come on, y'all know us. You know we're not gonna stay up here a lot. Watch.
And you have the white verifying it's for you. Oh, Lord. That's right. We had a whole lot of shade.
Appreciate it. Definitely.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting back to order. Do we have a motion? We have a motion to defer by Councilwoman Amorosa, till July meeting, second by Councilwoman Coleman. Any opposition? Motion carries.
2 weeks.
1 month.
Because I thought this was a special meeting.
Oh, 3 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I'm not sure that we can.
Who would
Yeah.
know? Can we make a motion to defer to next week, and if that's not possible, then to the July
Nobody was
meeting?
at the plat meeting either.
Ryan,
Ryan,
do we have an issue with deferring this to the next meeting in terms of advertising?
so can we do to next week?
So you need a motion to defer to June
What?
18th?
But can we do it with the
I don't know. No, you can't say.
if we can't make it conditional? Okay. So was the motion second and unanimous votes to defer it until next week? Is that accurate?
Let's re-vote that.
You want to redo it?
Defer
Councilwoman Amorosa made a motion to defer to next week, seconded by Councilwoman Coleman. Any opposed to that motion? Anyone opposed?
Yeah.
Next meeting, which is next week. Zoning meeting. Yeah, because this is a makeup meeting here. I know. Any opposed? Everybody good? Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
All right. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Councilwoman Amorosa.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the council chamber of East Baton Rouge Parish, June the 11th, 2025. So good to have all of you with us. Our council members want you to be part of our government, and we're glad that you're with us today. And we're ready to go. And so at this time, here is the Mayor President Pro Tem of East Baton Rouge Parish, Councilman Brandon Noel.
Thank you, Dennis. We're going to call a meeting to order this Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. We have a quorum. We're going to have the invocation and pledge led by Ms. Yolanda Baptiste.
Father God, we thank you right now in the name of Jesus Christ, Lord. We thank you for allowing us to come together again, Lord, for a council meeting. We ask that you would allow your spirit to dwell in this place so that everyone will be on one accord, Heavenly Father, and we move forward in the name of Jesus, and we move forward so that Baton Rouge can continue to strive, Lord, and that you will get all the glory, the honor, and the praise. For it is in Jesus Christ's name that we pray. Amen. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to have adoption and approval of the minutes. Approval and adoption of minutes of the Metropolitan Council meeting of May 28, 2025, and the Greater Baton Rouge Airport Commission meeting, June 3rd, 2025, by the Council Administrative Treasurer. We have a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Amorosa, second by Councilwoman Coleman. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ashley, can you read the introductions, please?
Section 2.12, Introductions. Number 2, a resolution calling a special election to be held in Fire Protection District Number 6 in East Baton Rouge Parish, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, November 15th, 2025, for the renewal of the levy and collection of the ad valorem property tax of 5 mills in each calendar year on all property subject to taxation in the district for a period of 9 years, commencing in and including the year 2026 to and including the year 2034, which estimated amount of the tax reasonably expected to be collected from such renewal is $351,194.50 for each entire year of the levy, with the avails of proceeds of said tax to be used entirely and exclusively for the development, operation, and maintenance of the fire protection facilities of the district, including the cost of obtaining water for fire protection purposes and fire hydrants within the district, making application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith by Fire Protection District Number 6. Number 3, a resolution setting the amount of the local hospital assessment payments for East Baton Rouge Parish Local Healthcare Provider Participation Program for fiscal year 2025, to direct how the revenues derived from the local hospital assessment payment is to be spent, and to set the amount to be paid in collection fees by the Council Administrator Treasurer. Condemnation introductions. Number 4, Willie Hawkins and Ellen Hawkins, 2842 Plover Street, Council District 2, Kenny. Number 5, Elvin Sterling and Norma Sterling, 5358 Cadillac Street, Council District 5, Hearst. Number 6, Titus E. Randall Jr. et al., 4873 Longfellow Drive, Council District 5, Hearst. Number 7, Katie Charlotte Everett, 6126 Barksdale Street, Council District 5, Hearst. Number 8, the estate of Vivian Moore and the estate of Eva Percy, 1075 Parlane Street, Council District 6, Dunn Jr. Number 9, Samuel Preston et al., 1019 North 40th Street, Council District 7, Harris. Number 10, Charles Ivy Lee et al., 4606 Sherwood Street, Council District 7, Harris. Number 11, Tanya Bayham, 2718 Sheldon Drive, Council District 7, Harris. Number 12, Melissa Manson, 3858 North Foster Drive, Council District 7, Harris. Number 13, Freddie S. Williams and Angela Travis, 3824 Plumbrook Drive, Council District 7, Harris. Number 14, Alberta Sterling Smith and Isaiah Smith Jr., 4603 Wells Street, Council District 7, Harris. Number 15, Joseph Miles, 3827 Geronimo Street, Council District 10, Coleman. Number 16, the estate of Jake Knox and the estate of Helen Steptoe Knox, 720 East Polk Street, Council District 10, Coleman. Number 17, Betty K. Potan, et al., 1429 Thomas H. Delpit Drive, Council District 10, Coleman. Number 18, Julia Moreno Rodriguez, 4061 Aliquippa Street, Council District 10, Coleman. All items that require reading have been read. A motion to delete item 25 at the request of the department and to introduce all other items is in order.
All right. Motion by Councilman Dunn Jr., second by Councilman Kenny. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right, y'all, let's go to condemnations. Go to your separate sheet. Okay. Right now I have to proceed items 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 57, 58, and 59. July 23rd meeting for items 34, 36, and 48, and 60 days for items 37, 44, 47, 56, and to delete item 60. Is anyone here wishing to speak on any of these items? See none.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 57, 30 days, and number 59, delete. The gentleman is going to tear it down himself, so.
Okay, 57 is July 23rd, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And 59,
delete.
delete.
Okay. All right, Councilman
38, 30-day deferral.
July 23rd, okay on that one?
Yep, that's fine.
38. All right. Anyone else? 46, 50, July. Okay. Okay, y'all. We have to proceed with items 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 58. We're going to defer to July 23rd meeting, items 34, 36, 38, 46, 48, 55, and 57. 60 days, the August meeting, August 13th, is going to be item 37, 44, 47, 56, and to delete items 59 and 60. We have a motion in that order? Motion by Councilman Dunn Jr., second by Councilwoman Adams. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are gonna rearrange the agenda here. Item 74. Accepting recommendation of the Project Oversight Committee for Hunt & Partners as the finalist to serve as the city parish owner's advisor for the Baton Rouge Convention Center expansion and headquarter hotel development project, and authorizing the parish attorney and its special legal counsel for the project to commence negotiations of a contract with Hunt & Partners, which proposed contract shall be returned to the Metropolitan Council for approval by Office of the Mayor President. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Rob Hunden, CEO of Hunt & Partners, and I'm joined by Steve Hammerly, Executive Vice President of Hunt & Partners, and happy to be here today to talk you through sort of the recent past and the go-forward plan. We are very excited to be ranked as the first choice to start a negotiation with on a contract to move you forward with the convention center expansion and headquarters hotel development. So before I go into this very brief presentation, is there anything that anybody else wants to say? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go.
Say any this on, and when you say if it's anybody else who want to say something, I just want to say that this is an important step here that we are getting ready to do to import the process for our
Councilwoman,
city.
we're gonna have our time still afterwards.
Yeah, but he asked if it's
I know.
anybody. And you know, this District 10.
I understand,
and, you know,
Councilwoman.
this my project. Yeah, and so I'm grateful to have you all here in order that you can share that which you have to share with the group. Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you, Councilwoman Coleman. Go District 10. Okay. All right. We know where we stand in the pecking order. Okay. All right. Well, with that actually breaks the ice a little bit. So we're very pleased to be here to talk to you about this today. I will make our remarks as brief as possible. So to give you a bit of background, River Center background and context. So we have been working for the past year and a half on behalf of the community to really assess the situation on a number of fronts, but especially the River Center and the hotel situation. And what was determined in that was that the River Center is not competitive in the convention center market or industry. The fact that you do not have a high quality connected headquarters hotel that has all of the required amenities and bells and whistles that meeting and event planners require today is an important key missing piece for Baton Rouge, and unless and until that's resolved, you will continue to not perform. The proposed arena at LSU does provide an important opportunity for the redevelopment of the River Center, as it allows the River Center to really do what it does best, or what it can do best in the limited confines of the physical sort of three-dimensional structure that exists, and can allow for sort of a rising tide and a growing pie that lifts all boats. With both of these venues, the LSU Arena being able to handle the larger entertainment events, and then the River Center to host smaller entertainment and convention and conference events and other sporting events. Just to recap the River Center opportunity, we have recommended a 40,000 square foot flex hall / concert venue with a 3,000 seat capacity that would be partnered with a 350 plus or minus key full service headquarter hotel with a full service nameplate. It in and of itself will have a lot of these amenities that headquarter hotels have to have. For example, a 30,000 square foot ballroom and a whole battery of meeting rooms, restaurants, other amenities that are expected. And one thing I will mention is that these hotels used to be thought of as big box, kind of boring group hotels. They are now actually leisure and staycation magnets for communities. The most recent ones that have been built in the last 5 years or so, like in Louisville, Kentucky, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, have their second largest segment is leisure, because they've really built it for that. So you can become this real destination. We also recommend the renovation of the River Center Ballroom and other spaces, and a reimagined outdoor plaza. In addition, there's some great synergies happening right now with the downtown planning effort that's happening around the River Center, and we seek to, of course, engage the community in our effort, but also engage with Sasaki and the others working on that riverfront and downtown effort to make sure these are all sort of designed in concert to really be singing off of each other and synergistic with each other. So the redeveloped River Center would expand meeting and event opportunities. Certainly with that headquarters hotel will allow you to attract higher rated business and just more business. That hotel by itself is going to host a lot of meetings. It's got to be full 365 days a year. It will boost downtown's hotel performance. I will tell you that we've done quite a bit of analytics on headquarter hotels and what they do to the marketplace when they are introduced. And we've looked backwards in time, before and after these have been opened, and the other hotels in the market actually perform better in occupancy and rate in almost every case we've seen around the country after a headquarters hotel is introduced. And it's even a stronger impact for those hotels that are not directly adjacent and walkable to the center. So there's a positive rising tide that lifts the boats of both the primary and secondary set of hotels around. So there's a lot of positive benefit, and that will also then spill over to your restaurants and retailers and shops and other entertainment. Slide 4. So what does this mean? Where do we get to? So one of the things that Hunden Partners specializes in, and I'll sort of tell you about our 3 buckets, but we've gone through this study phase. It's really critical when you hand the baton off, no pun intended for Baton Rouge, hand the baton off to the next phase of this, that you are doing it in a very smart way. This is where many communities really stub their toes and hit a brick wall. We want to make sure that you are putting this in, you have the most creative finance plan that is going to make sure that any dollars that are necessary for this investment come from the project itself. And so that takes a lot of creativity and has been done many other places. And so we're going to model those best models from around the country to help figure that out. You also need to have sort of an ownership and governance entity that makes sure that this thing is owned, operated, and marketed and sold really well so that you're as busy as possible in generating that economic impact. And then finally, you've got to have that great hotel partner. And so this RFP for an owner's advisor was issued by you all to help assist you in all of these critical next steps, finding the hotelier, hotel development, putting together the finance plan, putting together the governance structure for this. So just a little bit about the Hunden team and who and what we are. So I have been doing this for 30 years. We have other leadership in our firm that have been doing this for 30 plus years, and we are the largest in what we do in this very tight niche of transformative placemaking development plans. So I like to say that we do nerdy work for cool places, and I don't take that lightly. We are truly an advisor for these very difficult public-private partnerships and public-public ventures. I started off at the City of Indianapolis, local public improvement bond bank, and the mayor's office, putting these very kinds of projects together for my community, and then I took that sort of on the road, and now we've done it over 1,000 times over the last 30 years, and the firm is about 20 years old. And we've got about 25 to 30 people working on this at any given time. So what makes us different is that depth of experience in this very niche that we are talking about. So you can see the whole variety of convention centers we've worked on in markets large and small, all throughout this region especially, but all throughout North America. And I have a personal passion for headquarter hotels and making sure those get done right as well. I have been keeping track of these for 30 years since I was 24 years old. So you can see the number that we have worked on there. We're currently in the marketplace for Tulsa's headquarters hotel, so that process is unfolding as we speak and has gone very, very well for them. We've been recently involved in Cincinnati's process, have others that have been developed recently or over the years, like the Omni in Fort Worth and Indianapolis and Chicago and many other places, large and small. We know Baton Rouge. We have worked for the last year and a half on 4 different studies. Of course, the one that we're talking about today, but also the Nicholson Corridor District Study, the LSU Research and Arena Entertainment District projects, and the larger sort of Baton Rouge area entertainment venue study to really understand what are your gaps and opportunities overall for entertainment and related things in the marketplace. And so that background led us to craft the team that we crafted for this, which I will describe, which is very nimble and open to making sure that we include local participation in this team effort and make sure that we are engaged with the community throughout so that we are listening first and making decisions later in concert with you all. I mentioned that our 3 buckets of work are sort of perfect for this setup. That overall sort of planning effort on the entertainment and related side, what are your gaps and opportunities? That's that sort of destination placemaking bucket that then leads into those feasibility studies, which we've already done, then leads into the development advisory and implementation phase. So we are really the only firm out there that offers to connect all 3 of those things together. I will say you all have been really, really smart in how you've put this together. You have thoughtfully considered that all of the things that you're working on to put this string of pearls together in Baton Rouge, from Memorial Park to downtown to Nicholson to LSU, those are those all have to be or should be thought of in concert, and how can we not duplicate efforts? How do we do things that are synergistic with each other? And so we've been very grateful and fortunate to be your partner on that for many of those processes, and we look forward to continuing that success. As I mentioned, we're a nimble team. We do expect to add to that team. There is a significant portion of our fee and scope that will be subbed out to specialists. And again, we will be working with the client side of this, the representatives from Baton Rouge, to ensure that we are putting the best people possible, but also that reflect Baton Rouge. So we'll be working with you on that, especially at the initial stages with community engagement and education of the community about what these kinds of projects can mean. And so with that, I will bring Steve up to talk about our tailored approach.
So thank you, Rob. And again, so I'm Steve Hammerly, Executive Vice President with Hunden Partners. At one point, my background, the vast majority of my career has been spent on the owner side of projects, developing impactful real estate. So I've been on your side of the table, was responsible for the recent redevelopment of Navy Pier in Chicago. Earlier in my career, I oversaw the expansion of McCormick Place. And so again, I bring experience from the owner side in the public, private, not-for-profit sectors. So if we could advance to the next slide, one more. So just quick comment on approach. So we're approaching this in a very straightforward way. It's about defining the project and finding a development team. So when we say defining the project, that's about the project components. It's about the program. It's about having a facility that has the components that meet the business needs for the facility. It's figuring out how much it should cost. It's putting together a financing plan. It's looking at the long-term management and operation of the facility so that it can meet its goals and objectives. And once that is established, we'll look at an implementation plan. How do we go out and find the development team to deliver that? And so it's a very deliberate and thoughtful approach. A little bit about defining the project. So we have done some feasibility work, and one of the first things we'll do is refine the recommendations that we had made based upon changes in the market. We will also start to engage and talk to potential development partners. That's really about gathering insight into the marketplace. We'll put together some preliminary plans, preliminary budget, and the point of the plans are not to design the building. It's the development partners that would do that. But it's really about establishing what the budget would be for the project. We'll begin financial modeling, put together a financing plan. It's our expectation that that will be an iterative process. So we'll put things together, we'll look at how the numbers are adding up, we'll cycle back, make refinements. And so what comes out of that process in the end is a project that we think makes the most sense for Baton Rouge. We'll put together an implementation strategy, so we really end this phase with two things, a project and an implementation plan. So then if we go to the next slide, it will talk about finding a development partner. And again, our approach to this is twofold. One of the things to remember is this is a competitive marketplace. Developers have lots of different opportunities ahead of them, and so this really is about selling Baton Rouge. And the first part of this process is a request for qualifications. It's about creating broad interest. I think it's more about selling the community, selling the opportunity to get as much qualified interest from, as many qualified developers as possible. We would review those proposals and then review those qualifications and then prepare a request for proposals and get proposals from a selected number of firms, and that's about getting real material financial information. The goal of that is from our perspective is to put together the best deal possible for Baton Rouge. I mean, that is genuinely what we're looking to do. That after those proposals are reviewed, it's about putting together a term sheet which is going to define broadly what the financial parameters of the deal would be, and then helping assist you all to put together a definitive agreement. In the next slide, you'll see a little bit about what we've done and the work we've done in the marketplace. So this really is about attracting a qualified development team. It's about finding the right fit for the city of Baton Rouge. I mean, this project will be a lot of work, and I think it's important to have development partners that understand the goals, the objectives, the mission of Baton Rouge, and are absolutely committed to the deal. Rob had mentioned we're currently working in the marketplace right now in the city of Tulsa. We have relationships with development firms that develop headquarters hotels. We have relationships with brands. We think it's important to engage those entities early in the process. We'll get insight about refinements to the program. But likewise, when we issue the request for qualifications and proposals, we want to make sure we're issuing it to a private marketplace that is receptive to the idea, that is engaged and wants to participate in the process. And that's really about, the approach that we have. In the next slide, just a little bit about project schedule. So broadly speaking, this is about a 24-month process. It's broken down into two general categories. Phase one, aptly named, is really about defining the project. And that's about an 8-month period. There's, we think there's approximately 6 months of us doing the work and putting the information together, and there are probably a month or two of discussions and decision-making, because that then will serve as the basis for us moving forward and going out to the marketplace. And that's an approximately 16-month time period. We're certainly going to work to try and have that happen quicker, and it could happen quicker, and it can also take longer. It depends on the circumstances and the parties and everybody involved. But you can see how it sort of breaks itself down into phases, which is qualifications, again, about finding and reaching broadly into the marketplace, shortlisting firms. It's about getting proposals, evaluating proposals, and then negotiating a term sheet and ultimately the definitive agreements. And it's after that point then that the project would commence, and that's commencing design and construction in earnest. So that really is the high-level overview of what we're about. We are genuinely honored and excited to be here. We love the work we've done in Baton Rouge. We love the community, and we want nothing more than to fast forward to be able to walk around and sit in a very compelling project, a renovated River Center. So appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all.
Yeah, thank you. We will open it up to any questions and comments at this time. And I'll just also say, we're here to represent your best interest, and we will be doing that throughout this time. And so we appreciate the gravity of that responsibility, and we won't let you down.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. We're going to continue with the public hearing, and then we'll go to council, and if anybody has questions, they can call you up. We have wishing to speak in favor, Ms. Jill Kidder.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Kidder with Visit Baton Rouge, and I was hoping to follow our chairman of our oversight committee, because I am the vice chair, and I follow her lead. But I know she's got some wonderful things to say. But I just want to put my 2 cents in and tell you that as part of the review committee and as part of the oversight committee, I couldn't be more happy standing before you saying that Hunden is the right group to lead this effort for us, and we can't wait to dig in and get to work with them. And if you guys have any questions or anything for me, I'll be glad to answer, but I just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to, there we go. Yes, sir.
My name's Darrell Glass. How you doing? I'm going to speak in opposition to this item on the agenda. Let me tell you why. Because Baton Rouge right now should be going in a direction to take care of the needs of the government. And you all are the decision makers in Baton Rouge, and I don't know what the CapEx is going to be on this project. I don't think you all even know what the CapEx is going to be on this project, but let me tell you this, as a former city council member, I want to rise and tell you this, when you start wrong, you end wrong. You have inherent conflicts of interest. Let me tell you why. You have two members of the city council on the selection committee, or oversight committee, then you have one on the scoring committee. And you had 5 companies that started out in the process, and you have 2 individuals that's on the city council that's going to make the decision. That, in my opinion, is a conflict of interest. And then there are conflicts of interest on the other side. You have one individual represent 3 different entities. Baton Rouge is really right now reeling about taking care of the fundamental services of the government. And I'm not just up here I'm not representing myself, I'm telling the leaders, the people who make the decisions on how money is going to be spent. Do you need to do this at this time? That's the question. Do you need to do it at this time? When you have the DA screaming for money, when you have the fire department, you have the police department, you have crime, this is the season where you have to cut grass. Look, I'm not against any project, but I've sat on that side of the aisle, and I understand that you have relationships and you want to move forward. What are the definite decisions going to be made with all of these projects? What is the CapEx on them? And I know you've got bits and pieces, but I'm going to tell you, as leaders in the community, and let me tell you, I know sometimes when you make statements, people get mad, but don't get mad at the messenger. You listen to the message. I listen to messages, and the message to the public is right now, they are fighting for their own survival where these taxes are concerned. And when you start spending the amount of money, you have a individual sitting right over there in the River Center, a company, and I have not spoken to them, but I know a little bit about government. They're over there right now. I don't know if they were one of the individual companies or not, but you have people that are qualified with master's degrees and everything else, and we are spending money. And I know my time is up, but I'm going to say this to you, and I said it many years ago when I was sitting on that council. I absolutely guarantee you that the state of the financial conditions of this community, you won't whip your checkbooks out and pay for it out of your salary. You won't call Ashley Beck and say, hey, look, I got travel money, I got money for my salary and money for my card allowance and everything else. I'm just going to put my money up. What I'm saying to you all is this.
Thank you, Mr. Glasper.
I'm going to say this to you. I'll close by saying this. You run the government. Make wise decisions, and this is not a decision you need to make at this time. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Rosalie Washington, and I'm not speaking on whatever they were talking about because I got here late. But I would like to speak on about the bus system.
No, we're only speaking on this item. We're on this agenda item. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, when you get to,
Sure.
I want to speak to about.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Item 74. Seeing none, we'll go to council. Chairwoman,
Yes,
Queen
sir.
of District 10.
District 10.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Grateful. And this is an important next step for Baton Rouge in the process for our city plan for the redevelopment of the River Center complex and the development of a headquarters hotel. And you can recall that we passed an ordinance, this same group that you're looking at up here, on June 26, 2024, to create the Project Oversight Committee to make recommendations to our Metro Council and regarding the process for the selection of one or more developers for this important project. That was an ordinance, June 26, and I'd like to thank the Project Oversight Committee, not one, not two, but the Oversight Committee, who's worked very hard to get to this point of this next step in the developers selection process. And so let me tell you who is on the committee. And so, yes, I am the chairperson, and then Jill Kidder is the vice chair, Jen Rocca, Councilwoman, Monica Peenan from the mayor's office, Rodney Braxton, Jonathan Grimes, April Hawthorne, Gary Jupiter, Lori Malone, Chris Myers, and Whitney Sayers. So if you listen and look at that, just a great, group, not just a one-sided group there, the group of Baton Rouge. And I'd like to personally thank Jill Kidder for her hard work in serving as my vice chair and helping to move this project forward. She's very invaluable. And your approval of the finalists of our owner's advisor is before us today. The owner's advisors, once under contract, will provide oversight of the entire process to assess our community opportunities, to identify the project scope, to prepare financial modeling, budgets, and a financial plan, the big P word, plan, to develop a strategy to solicit developers, to engage in initial solicitation of developers, and to prepare a request for qualification or a request of proposal process, to provide oversight of the selection process together with the committee, the parish attorney's office, and the purchasing office, and we've engaged with them before as well. Engagement with the selection of a developer finalist to be approved by this Metro Council, similar to the action that we're taking today in connection with the owner's advisor. Finally, assist together with Mr. Landry and the parish attorney in negotiation of a contract with the developer. So the committee has worked very closely with the parish attorney's office and the city's purchasing office to develop a request for proposal in a highly competitive process. And we received significant input from numerous individuals in the city parish to make sure that the RFP conformed to all, not some, of city parishes' requirement and procedures. And I'd like to thank our attorney who's assigned to this, Mr. Charles Landry, for all of his hard work in preparation of the RFP and assistance in connection with the process. The RFP was issued on January 15, 2025, and the process was supervised by the city parish purchasing office. The RFP was published 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the Advocate. And we also sent the RFP to 19 nationally recognized consultants who had the qualifications to service as our owner's advisor. We received 5 qualified responses: Baker Tilly, Garfield CSRS, Hunden Partners, Johnson Consulting, Legend ASM. And to help with the detailed work of evaluating the responses, I appointed a subcommittee to work with the city parish's purchasing office. Yes, that was comprised of
Councilwoman, you want your extra time?
Yes, please. Myself, Monica Peening from the mayor's office, Gary Jupiter, Jill Kidder, Chris Myers. And after carefully reviewing all of the proposals, the subcommittee voted to shortlist the following respondents: Baker Tilly, Hunden Partners, and Johnson Consulting. The subcommittee then interviewed each of the 3 semifinalist teams in Baton Rouge. And this was a great process because we could not only receive a presentation and provide questions, but perhaps as importantly, understand the personality of each team. And after all, we'll be working closely with the owner's advisory for well over a year in connection with this process. Ultimately, the subcommittee made a recommendation to the committee that Hunden Partners be selected as the finalists to be recommended to us, the Metro Council, for approval. And I'd like to thank that subcommittee for its hard work. This has been a lot of hard strategic legal work. I'd also note that our subject matter consultant, Butch Spiriton worked with the committee during this process, so thank you, Butch. The committee is well pleased to recommend Hunden Partners to you and to authorize the parish attorney and Charles Landry to negotiate any agreement with Hunden. The proposed agreement will come back to the Metro Council for our approval, and at this time, we will be ready to move on. So I think you'll agree that we have recommended an outstanding team to represent the city parish in the process, which is our duty here. And I'm personally so happy to work with the committee, and I'd like to thank the committee, Charles Landry, the budget Spiriton again, the parish attorney, everybody. You all know who you are, and I'm very encouraged that we're on the right path to identify a developer for this important project. And so, with that being said, you know, it is very important that we keep in mind, yes, all of that crime, all of that other stuff, but guess what? We've got to have a place where we want to be and folk want to come. And so we've got to be progressive in what we do. And so here we are, we sit here, and these are the kind of decisions that this council makes. Thank you. And so now, Councilman Noah, I'll turn this back over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Councilman Dunn Jr.
Thank you, sir. Charles and Greg, please, both of you guys. I'll start with you, Charles. Former Councilman Glasper made some points and he had some concerns about the makeup of the committee and the scoring committee. Can you confirm that we do have 2 council members? No, you, Charles. Okay. On the current committee, is that true?
Yes, sir.
That's
absolutely.
correct.
As per your ordinance.
As per our ordinance, do we have 1 council member on the scoring committee?
That's correct. The chairman of the committee that was part of the ordinance selected the scoring committee, and she was the chair of it.
Thank you, sir. Is it true that this council hired you to advise us legally through this process?
Yes, sir. By resolution, I am special counsel to support our parish attorney. As made clear, I don't have any independent authority. It's the parish attorney's authority, but I'm a subject matter expert on these, and I'm here to help Mr. Rome where I can. Okay.
Is it your legal opinion that we have operated in order, or is it your opinion that we are in conflict with the law as it relates to the roles that the council members serve?
Mr. Dunn, I wish I could answer that. That would be more of the parish attorney. I'm here as a subject matter expert on negotiating the contracts on development agreements, not the process.
Okay, that's fair. Greg, I was going to ask you the same question anyway, but just wanted to lay the foundation that what former Councilman Glasper said is true. But as it relates to who served and the roles they served, but in your legal opinion, is that in order? Is that in conflict with the law?
And I don't want to not answer your question, but I don't know based on what he said. I did talk to him briefly. I think he's making some assumptions, but and I don't know what's going to happen tonight. And you don't need to come up here. This is my time. So if you'll sit down, Mr. Glasper. If they want to call you up, they'll call you up. But if you look at the resolution, I think y'all are all on the either board or committee. You do have some that are one council person, Councilman Coleman, on the scoring committee. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I know y'all are voting on this item. I don't know if she's going to vote or not. I didn't ask.
I understand that, but my direct question to you is, did we operate in accordance with the law?
Look, y'all have council members on all kind of boards. That's not uncommon.
So it's a normal business practice that council.
Seems like it to me. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Landry.
Thank you.
Councilman Hurst.
I think Councilmember Glasper, believe it or not, I might actually agree with some of the stuff that he said publicly. Disagree with some of it as well. I think y'all know how I feel about everything from the beginning of this process, from the non-compete with no data to areas of conflict where one person is tied to multiple pieces of this for personal gain and professional gain. But That's not what my comment is today. What my comment is today is really looking at the priorities of our parish. Like I had a conversation in the back, in between the meetings, that was really talking about how do we move the city parish forward. And I'll throw a number out there because the public needs to know that we could potentially be under consent decree to have to get a new jail, juvenile detention, and potentially mental health facility as a part of it. And that's $600 million. That's $600 million. And we are federally required to do that from constitutional mandates to have a jail that's adequate. And I want y'all to know that there's a part of that jail right now that we had to move inmates from that they
Point of order. This is not germane to the topic
It is
that we
very
have in
germane
hand.
to the topic. It's about
It is not.
public purpose as it relates to the River Center. It is.
Is there a consent decree against the River Center, sir? No, there's not.
So the bottom line to it is, in terms of priorities in our parish and where this River Center fits, made it germane to the topic. Thank you. In terms of other projects that we have going on, to me, this is a want and not a need. When you look at our stormwater and the issues that we have related to our stormwater, we still haven't solved those issues. When we look at Thrive BR, everybody thinks that the mayor's doing a threat to the public is real. We are running a deficit. How it got started and who did it, I don't really care. The matter of the fact is we actually have a deficit. And if we don't find money, some people won't have jobs. It's not a threat, it's a real deal. That's why everybody up here unanimously voted for it. So I'm not saying that the River Center doesn't need to be done. I've been in sports and I love entertainment. I believe we need a new facility here, but not in lieu of the priorities of the $600 million prison that we will potentially have to build, and jail, juvenile detention, and mental health. Not in lieu of fixing our stormwater. Not in lieu of making sure that our employees have a job and we can properly have funded offices within the city parish. So I just look, the vote is going to pass. I can tell y'all right now it's going to pass. But I wanted to make sure that I went on public record that I stood up for the people in the back of the room. And I appreciate everybody listening today. Thank you.
Councilman Moak.
Yeah. We're gonna swap for a minute, if that's okay.
Councilwoman Rocker.
So, being on this council, you learn to wear many hats. You also learn that whenever you're looking at the parish as a whole, you have to juggle many things at one time. You have to understand the budget in its totality. You have to understand where funds come from and understand that there are certain buckets that fund certain things like prisons and other buckets that fund other things like river centers. It's pretty simple once you've been here a while and you actually study it and get to know it. But what I would like to tell you is my personal experience throughout this entire process, regardless of whether you're for it or you're against it. What I've witnessed has been absolutely disgusting. I've been in meetings where I have personally witnessed council members go into those meetings to circumvent the process, to disrupt the process because they either had a personal vendetta against the attorney that was running the meeting, or they had a personal vendetta against one of the council members that are in the meeting. And what I want to say today to the public is, if you see it on Facebook, doesn't make it true. If you read it in a letter, does not mean it's true. If someone says it up here in the microphone, that doesn't make it true either. So I assure you that what you should do is go and seek facts for yourself. Ask the people that have been there and witnessed the process. Understand that countless hours have been put in to make sure that everything has been vetted for the best of the public. And also understand that whenever looking at what works for the public, most of us up here look to see what's going to be good in 10 years, what's going to be good in 20 years, not what's going to get me to my next political seat. And what's going to get me the public appeal so I get elected again, so I can sit up here and continue to lie to folks.
Councilman Hudson.
Well, I just want to say I'm excited, right? This is a project that the council as a whole has really bought into from all districts from across the parish, where we want to invest in our community. Yes, I think that there is a correct attitude that we have to focus on the basic functions of government, right? And I'm 100% behind that. I think that's the idea behind the mayor's tax plan and the Thrive plan and everything we're doing there. But at the same time, we've got to be able to think long-term as well. We have known for forever in this parish that a quality convention hotel, a headquarter hotel at the riverfront is essential. I recognize that as somebody who represents largely the St. George area. I think council members from all over the parish recognize that it's important. So I want to thank Councilwoman Coleman and Councilwoman Rocca for their leadership, along with everybody else that served on this committee for all the work that they've done in selecting a high-quality partner to help us get this underway. It's been asked, do we want to be in the hotel business in East Baton Rouge Parish? And I would argue no. We don't want to be in the hotel business. We want to be in the convention business, though, and that is why we need this process to go in and find a private developer to help us through this, right? To get them to share in the burden, private-public partnership, and make sure that we do this with as low of a burden on the taxpayer as possible. I'm very satisfied with this process in that we are getting much more than just a partner to go after a developer. We're getting someone to help us map out the entire process and ensure that 30, 40, 50 years from now, this remains a robust facility in our parish that can drive economic development. The one thing that I definitely want to also drive home, and it goes back to the argument of where our priorities and that kind of thing. There's been asked the question of where will the funding come for this? I want to start with where the funding will not come for this, particularly for this contract, but even as you get into much of the development of the River Center, it's not going to come from our City Parish General Fund, which is where we fund most of our essential services, right? So these dollars are going to come from the Economic Development District that we've set up, or it could come from state dollars, or it could come from dollars already allocated for the River Center. So I just want to address all those and change the tone a little bit here, that this shouldn't be controversial. This is the time to celebrate, right? This is your Metro Council coming together again, another example of us coming together and rallying around something that is a huge benefit for the entire parish. I think this is something to celebrate, and kudos to everybody that's put so much hard work into it.
Councilwoman Adams.
Thank you. I want to echo some of what Dwight said. I work downtown, and it has been really exciting to see downtown with the bowling conference here and all of the, basically convention attendees. The restaurants are full. I was just speaking with Gary. The hotels are full. We've had people coming in town for the legislative session. They can't get hotel rooms because the hotels are full. And to me, it's just been a little peek, a little vision into what downtown could look like and feel like frequently with the convention center and a headquarters hotel. I'd like to ask the parish attorney to come to the microphone. I've got a question for you, Mr. Rome. Just want to make sure we don't create any confusion, because as Councilwoman Rocca alluded to, things get in the media and get on social media and get spread. Are we being sued by the Department of Justice right now with regard to any of our mental health care facilities or prison facilities? I'm not. If there's a suit, I don't know about it, so I'd like to know if there is a suit.
If we have been, our office hadn't received a copy. I don't know if the mayor's office has been served. When they're served, they bring it to us immediately, and I haven't seen anything.
Okay, so we wouldn't expect to see any kind of consent decree unless there was a
unless it was
action.
today, or in the mayor's office just hadn't brought it to my office.
Okay.
I mean, it happens pretty quick.
Sure, okay. And with stormwater, we are doing our utmost best to continue to work through that.
Yes.
And I've certainly been very pleased with the representation we've had and the
Yeah, I
progress
think
that we're
everybody just
making.
got briefed about a month ago. So
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So
okay.
We're moving that as fast as we can.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, I just say, so I tend to agree. I'm excited about this project. I think it's a big positive for our community to have a focus and a specific focus for this facility to try to increase the attributes of the area for what it can be. And I think going after convention, like Councilman Hudson said, I mean, if we can focus on that, then rather than trying to be everything for everyone, I think we can really have some benefit by doing that. Now, in saying that, what we're talking about here is utilizing an expert to try to tell us how to do. And I know there's a handful of things that I'm good at, and there's way more that I'm not good at. And for those things, I am at least smart enough to realize I need to hire experts to do it all the time. In fact, there's a lot of things my wife think I can do, and I hire somebody else to do them because I really don't want to. So that's all this is trying to utilize somebody who really knows it better, people who understand it. And kudos to the committee for sitting and navigating through that and identifying someone to do it. And thank you to Mr. Landry, because you're a wealth of knowledge in this space. We know it. We get more out of you. I know I have for years in different capacities than you're even compensated for, and we appreciate that. You're a champion for our community, and we know you're the godfather of development. You do a great job at it, so we appreciate it. But I think oftentimes when you look at big projects and you take a step back and you kind of that 30,000-foot view, you have to approach things, you have to look at them differently. And it's real easy, especially when there's tough times. And yes, we do have budgetary constraints and things we're trying to work through at City Parish. It's real easy to be very reactionary in those times and hyper-focused on the problems. And usually the adverse of the reactionary is creation and being creative. And these are instinctual in all of us, how reactionary or how creative you are. And it's not good, bad, or otherwise. It's just being cognizant about how you react to situations and how you approach a problem or a perceived problem. And I think in this case, it takes that step back, that 30,000-foot view, that bigger picture, and that creative mindset to try to visualize something that can be. And it's basically, it's like an investment in anything else. It's like a rich dad, poor dad situation. If there's just times where you have to focus dollars and spend money to really have a good economic impact. And you know, Mr. Hunden, you talked about rising tide lifts all ships when you were talking about just in the hotel situation where you can see improvements across all the hotels, not just the headquarter hotel. But I would argue that's exactly what we talk about from an economic development standpoint in general. When we have, when you fill those hotels up, you fill the restaurants up, and everything else that comes along with it. The power of the indirect dollar is everything that we talk about in economic development is massive. And it's from when we talk about pilot or ITEP or an EDD or anything dealing with economic development in this manner, it is an investment to power that indirect dollar. When we talk about increasing industry, creating jobs, that's people who are going to buy houses in our community, which is going to, the realtors are going to make money. They're going to eat at the restaurants too. Everything grows when you have good economic development. And sometimes it takes investment on the front end to make that a reality. But when you take one or two steps back and have a creative mindset looking at the power of those indirect dollars, it's really exponential. And that's really how we should be viewing this. And we can focus on good, positive growth investments while also dealing with our other budgetary issues that, as Councilman Hudson pointed out, are really different buckets of money anyway. And we can walk and chew bubblegum, and I think we can handle that, and this is a perfect example of it. So, thank you. Councilman Moak.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, everybody said this. We've talked about this same subject in every single council meeting that this comes up, about whether the parish can handle doing two things at one time or not. And we've proven it over and over again, especially since the beginning of the year and everything, that we've worked on multiple projects. You can sit here as a parish government and talk about what possibly could happen. What could possibly happen down the road? We possibly have to do this. We're possibly going to have to do that. I don't think it's even a possibility that we're going to have to do some of these things that were mentioned before. But I can guarantee that it is probably, we're going to be able to take care of that and this coinciding together as far as getting these projects done. One thing I think about a lot of the times, and you know, we're in this situation now that the River Center is, it's end of life. It is just end of life. When I first got on this council, they came to us wanting $5 million to do renovations to everything, and I voted against that because I thought, why are we sinking money into something that just needs to be replaced? Then over these years, these ideas started coming up, and that's what it's all about. It's about ideas. The arena at LSU, the big venues that can compete with New Orleans and everything. I don't go to New Orleans to go to the Smoothie King Center a lot for concerts. But what I will tell you I do is I go to New Orleans a lot to go to their convention center and all the different things that I'm involved in, and seeing the thousands and thousands of people that are there all week, all month, spending money left and right to be at that convention, and then they go out on the town, they have fun, they have a great time. Imagine that we can do that here. That's what the vision and goal is with this River Center. And to sit here and say that we are going to take away from other priorities in the parish is absolutely wrong. And it's scare tactics. It's just straight up scare tactics that everybody's going to get laid off, vendors aren't going to be able to do anything, and so on and so forth. So, you know, I go back to, God rest his soul, Mayor Kip Holden. And he had this Alive project that was going to be downtown. Imagine what downtown would be like right now if that would have passed back then. Now, that was a direct ask to the taxpayers to pay for that. They voted not to. I respect that opinion. There's no direct ask to the taxpayer for that. This is money. We're moving forward with plans and progress based on funding that we have for this. It can't go for anything else. It needs to go for this. So the fact that you're saying we're going to sit here and spend general fund money on stuff that could go to other priorities and all is just absolutely wrong. Another project, the rail connecting system that was talked about for years to go from downtown to LSU. If that would have been done back then, imagine where that could possibly be growing with this project to head the other way in Baton Rouge by now. And maybe we could have had a light rail connection from Southern all the way to LSU, with downtown being the hub of what it needs to be. Let's not look back from this 3, 4, 5 months, 1 year, 5 years after all our terms are gone and look back at this and go, well, what could it have been? Where would Baton Rouge be now? The city of, not only the city of Baton Rouge, but the parish of East Baton Rouge Parish. The parish itself. Sorry. It's just something I'm very passionate about. I know that keeps thrown up there a lot, and I'm just going to say it. We talk about what we like. This here, right here, let's not look back on this and go, what could have been if we'd have started this process in 2025? I ask the council to please pass this.
Councilman Hurst.
So there were a couple of things that were brought up earlier as it relates to this project that were indirectly pointed towards me from one of my colleagues, and I want to make sure that I let the people know that I'm not against the project. I was against how it was done. I do believe the River Center needs to be done. I do believe, and I agree with Brandon, that we are capable of doing multiple things at one time. If you look at my previous comments last year when this was done, I was saying how are we signing a non-compete without any data to justify it. Brandon and I have had private conversations where where we talked about this particular deal. No, I asked him directly. I said, what bank makes a $200 million decision without data in the financial report? And so I've asked all other colleagues and I say that for a reason because I put everybody in their own box where it relates to you. So this is not a one-time thing for me, and I stand my ground on all of it. And when it related to, in the back, had a conversation with one of my colleagues that said, don't go out there cutting up, the money's out there. And I said, the hell with the money, I'm for the people. And that's why 78% was on the ballot regardless who came against me. So I'm not worried about re-election. Now, as it related to the attorney, since it was brought up, the same attorney was on the ExxonMobil deal, asked me why that's involved, was representing TAF, was representing Memorial Park and representing the River Center, and wrote the agreement and turned it into the City Parish 4 ordinance. Then we paid him to fix it after he broke it down. So you can't tell me there's not conflicts there. So no, it's not re-election. It's about transparency. It's about transparency. And when you talk about budget, the budget moves around. That's why we have mid-year budget supplements. When stuff is wrong, we shift it. So it's one pot of money that we allocate for different departments, and we shift it around when we need to, because it's all taxpayer dollars. And when it talks about priorities, I'm not saying stop it. If the train is moving forward, let it move forward. What I'm saying is let's sit down and look at what the priorities are and figure out where they need to go and where we need to allocate time, resources, and talent. So I will speak twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, and I will say the same thing. Baton Rouge needs to grow. We just need to do it the right way, including the River Center. Thank you.
Councilman Moat.
So you bring up statistics and data, you want to see statistics and data and so on and so forth. The statistics and data is going down to the first floor, looking out across that building, looking out across that plaza at the River Center, and you can see everything you need to see right there statistically and data-wise, that building is not going to suffice for any long-term, no matter how much money. You can't even sink enough money into that one there to get it to where it needs to be to compete with other cities our size. Also, you can't get it there by keep throwing money over it, money after it, and money after it, to the point to where it not only sustains itself, but it sustains the whole downtown economy and support for all the businesses and everything downtown. All of that stuff comes back to you in return by growth. Also, by that growth would then allow the city parish itself to work with some of these employees that we have in possibly giving them raises, in working with them and keeping them in their jobs, with everything else that's going on. So everything will have to flow together, and I truly feel that it will. It's just, we have to start the process somewhere. And this is the beginning of that process. Again, I'll end this with, let's not look back. Let's not be sitting up here and we all have a reunion 30 years down the road, if I'm still here, as former council members and go, man, I wish we'd have done that. I wish we'd have really done that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rocca.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to apologize. I'm a little grouchy today. I had a root canal before I got here. I was a little late, so I'm sorry. But I'll tell you this, I'd much rather be doing that again than being here right now, based on the commentary that I've heard so far. So, Mr. Landry, can you please come up? Sir, we hear these words all the time, mostly from the public that doesn't fully understand or comprehend or have any idea or any law degree or anything of that nature. It's just some of these fun trigger words that they like to throw out there. Can you tell me a little bit about an ethical conflict and how that may or may not relate to you?
Well, an ethical conflict is when you represent an interest that's on one side when you have an interest on the other. And Mr. Hurst's commentary is totally false. And I don't want to stoop to his level and discuss his ethic violations that are sitting right now at the Ethics Commission. I don't want to get to that, all right? What I'd like to get to is he's confusing someone who spent 50 years working in this community and my success. And I don't have ethics problems. And I encourage you, Mr. Hurst, that don't make those accusations again without you going to the Ethics Commission or the Bar Association, because I'd like to deal with you straight up instead of making it personal, all right? Don't make acquisitions. Go to the people who do oversee this.
Is he able to talk to me, Brandon? Thank you, please.
Yeah. You're the one who's made personal accusations against me. That's very inappropriate.
I said
they're very personal accusations.
No, since you want to talk to
Excuse me, this is my time, sir.
I said
This
was
is
that
my time.
you were the lawyer for 4 people in the deal. I didn't say you had issues.
I'm the lawyer for 2,000 people, okay? When you needed help, Mr. Hurst, on your projects, well, who gave it to you for free?
Mr. Landry.
All right?
I understand.
I mean, this is ridiculous. And I do think it's inappropriate with the television going on, where I've spent my whole career trying to do something for this community, and I'm not going to put up with people trying to personally come against me to destroy it. And the reason, thank you for the opportunity, the reason I do represent so many people is because I do a good job, and it's not ethical, and I try to do what's in the best interest of the community. That is my priority. Apparently, that is not yours.
It's not your time. Councilman, it's not your time. No,
I
sir.
got it. I
No,
will
sir.
remove the word ethical and say conflict of
Councilman,
interest.
it's not your
Thank you.
time.
That is not, no.
Councilman,
No.
Mr. Landry, just
Excuse
Conflict
me.
of interest is worse.
It is my time.
I do not have a conflict of interest.
Do you have any complaints from the Bar Association?
Not
or-
at all.
Thank
What
you,
I
sir.
do is I end up with the front page of the business report saying that what I do is improving the community. And I just happen to be in a position that if you can pull all this stuff together and work it where there isn't conflicts, where people aren't climbing all over each other like crabs to get their own interest, and we can work as a community together. I think Mr. Hudson said it all. It's amazing that you have the city of St. George, you have Central, you have Zachary, and what are they doing? They're all here talking about something downtown. That's what inspires me. All right? And I'm going to continue to work for as many people as I can for the benefit of this community, irrespective of people slandering me, saying that there are conflicts of interest, there are none, or that it's unethical. I'm not going to accept that.
Thank you so much, sir. So with that being said, I think, the public needs to understand that attorneys in certain positions would rarely put themselves in any kind of ethical confrontation based on these minor contracts when you have a book of business as large and as successful as Mr. Landry's. But at any rate, I'll echo what he said. Throughout this process, we've reached across the aisle. We have worked and collaborated together for the betterment of the parish as a whole. That is extended across North Baton Rouge, South Baton Rouge, the Gissel Belt. Everyone has come together and shown some interest on a place that may be the piece that holds their children or their grandchildren here in the future. An entertainment opportunity that may get engineers from other cities, from Houston, Texas, to come to Baton Rouge, rather than our engineering students running from Southern and from LSU to go to Houston or Beaumont or Dallas. It's keeping some of those kids that receive TOPS that we've invested in here with our families, with their families growing. So with that, I want to thank all of my colleagues, all of the partners that have been here, and welcome the new folks that are coming forward and helping us with this project. And I'll make a motion to approve item number 74.
Councilwoman Coleman, you used your extra time already. You can second it, but you had hit to talk again.
I can second.
Councilman, we have a motion to approve by Councilwoman Rocca, second by Councilwoman Coleman. Councilman Dunn Jr.
Thank you. I'll hopefully put a bow in this thing. If you guys will remember when we approved the LSU arena, I know I heard two things from the general public. One, some just didn't fundamentally agree with the non-compete, and I understand some people's perspective on that. but it's something that's done in business all the time to try not to, businesses or interests to cannibalize each other. You put in place a scope of work or service or product offering that doesn't compete with the counterpart, so both entities can survive. That's what happened here as it relates to arena and the niche focus that is on the River Center and the convention industry, which is a great niche for us to focus on and not have to be so widespread. The second thing we heard was, what is the plan for the River Center? What is the plan for the River Center? What are you going to do with the River Center? Well, folks, here is the plan. We talked privately about an economic development district and several other things that wasn't ready to be made public at the time that we approved the arena. But what you see before you is the progression of that plan for the River Center. And I want to thank everybody's work on it. I want to thank Councilwoman Coleman for her leadership. And I look forward to this project. Thank you.
The item's been properly motioned and seconded. Do we have any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries. Mr. Hurst, opposition. Anybody else opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going to go back to item 61, authorizing and approving selection of the advocate as the official journal of the parish of East Baton Rouge and City of Baton Rouge for the period July 1st, 2025 until June 30th, 2026 by Council Administrative Treasurer. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Dwight, did you want to?
Yeah.
Councilman Hudson? Oh, sorry. Seeing none, we'll go to Councilman Hudson.
Given the last discussion, I want to make an amendment that we add an S to the 8th word, and then we can approve that. Motion to approve.
He wanted an S at the beginning. Advocate.
I'd like to amend it to Central City News.
Do we have a second on the motion? Second by Councilman Goday. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That was good. Item 62, approving the annual certification required for the Parish Transportation Fund and authorizing the Mayor President pro tempore to sign such certification as required by LRS 48-758 by the Finance Director. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, go to council. Motion by the chair. We have a second. Second by Councilman Kenny. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 63, authorizing Mayor President to execute an agreement with the Luster Group LLC for demolition and abatement services, package A6. Hey, y'all step out if y'all can talk. I think the mics are hot. Package A6 in an amount not to exceed $83,498 by the Development Director. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilman Dunn Jr. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 64, authorizing Mayor President to execute an agreement with Caldwell Environmental Solutions LLC for demolition and abatement services, package A7 in an amount not to exceed $58,665 by the Development Director. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Adams. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Rocca. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 65, authorizing Mayor President on behalf of the Library Board of Control to purchase a parcel of land adjacent to the South Branch Library from Kenneth Brown Design LLC at a fair appraisal value of $433,500 by the Library Director. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
Council members, you should have received one email comment in opposition to item 65.
Seeing none, we'll go to council. Motion by Councilwoman Rocca, second by Councilman Goday. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 66, amend the 2025 annual operating budget for the Charles R. Kelly Community Center to appropriate additional funds by increasing the revenue of $24,000 by $15,000 to help support expenses in the 2025 budget by the Charles R. Kelly Community Center. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilman Hurst, second by Councilman McKinney. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 67, amending the 2025 annual operating budget for the Jewel J. Newman Community Center so as to appropriate $5,000 from the fund balance assigned to Jewel J. Newman Community Center generated through prior year rental revenues at the community center for operational support, building repairs, and improvements to the community center by Jewel J. Newman Community Center. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilman McKinney, second by Councilman Hurst. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 68, authorizing Mayor President to amend the subrecipient contract with Our Lady of the Lake in the amount of $78,322 and extend the contract period till August 31st, 2025 for a total awarded amount of $688,803 by the Human Development and Services Director. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
Council members, you should have received one email comment in opposition to item 68.
Good evening. I'm Executive Director Zanders for DHDS. We're asking council to approve 68 through 71 contingent on an amendment by grants and review on Tuesday of next week. The item should read through 2026.
Was it advertised like that?
Yeah.
It was not? You saying yes, it was, or was not?
Yes, it was advertised as 2025.
don't
See
think
if the parish attorney's office agrees with me, but I don't think y'all can make that amendment on the floor.
Mr. Ron? Kim? We need somebody from the parish attorney's office.
Or Callie's contracts, right? Callie?
Yes.
I think this is a substantive change from the item as advertised, and for open meetings purposes, once an item is advertised, we cannot make substantive changes to the items.
It's just one number.
Motion to defer all of them.
Is it all of them?
Yeah.
It's all 68 through 71.
Or is it a motion to delete them and resubmit them?
Yeah, I think it's a motion to delete, and they're going to need to resubmit the items.
Motion to delete all of them.
Well, I didn't read them all in, so I read 68. Let's deal with 68, and then we'll take the rest of them together.
Gotcha.
So, item 68, anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. Councilman Moak, you want to speak on it?
So the question is this something that needs to be approved in the interim? We can do it through the August 31st, 2025 while we reintroduce the extension from September through 26. Is that an option?
I think it is because it's a subrecipient who's actually providing the service and is essential service.
I mean, do these people need to get paid?
Yes.
Is this sending money out? So
Yes,
if we
sir.
approve it as written, we can extend it by the next, by reintroducing another ordinance from there to the next point. So
That's right.
Yeah, that would be
I think that's
great.
the play.
Because
Okay.
they need to make payroll.
Motion approved.
I'll second it and abstain from 69.
Well, this is still just 68, so we're good. We have a motion by Councilman Moak, second by Councilman Dunn Jr. Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, this is contingent on grants and contracts review. That's how the motion was made, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. Motion carries. We're going to take items 69 through 71 together. Item 69, authorizing Mayor President to amend subrecipient contract with HIV/AIDS Alliance for Region 2, Inc., in an amount of $144,185 and extend the contract period till August 31st, 2025 for a total awarded amount of $1,185,431 by the Human Development and Services Director. Item 70, authorizing Mayor President to amend a subrecipient contract with No AIDS Task Force in an amount of $68,655 and extend the contract period till August 31st, 2025 for a total awarded amount of $667,616 by Human Development and Services Director. Item 71,
right?
authorizing the Mayor President to amend a subrecipient contract with Capital City Family Health Center cash out in the amount of $87,914 and extend the contract period until August 31st, 2025 for a total awarded amount of $956,590 by Human Development and Services Director. Anyone wishing to speak on these items?
Council members, you should have received one email comment in opposition to items 69 through 71.
Yes, sir. So we're asking to extend the services until we can actually amend it on Tuesday of next week.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak on these items? Seeing none, we'll go to council.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Moak. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Amorosa. That's contingent upon grants and contracts review. And we need to show Councilman Dunn Jr.
69.
abstaining on item 69. Any opposition otherwise? Motion carries. Item 72, authorizing settlement in the matter entitled Leroy Tenart et al. Versus City of Baton Rouge et al. Consolidated with Nicole Smith et al. Versus City of Baton Rouge et al. In the amount of $625,000 and appropriating $625,000 for such purpose by the parish attorney. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council.
Motion to go into executive session because open dialogue, discussion in public could be detrimental to the city's litigation position.
Second by the chair. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go into executive session.
You can't go in there.
No, that's why I'm giving it to you.
We're going to call the meeting back to order. We're on item 72. Does anybody have a motion? Mhm. Okay. Councilman Dunn Jr. makes a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Hurst. Any opposition? I'm opposed as well. 2, 3.
We're going to vote on the machines. Machines are open on the motion to approve item 72. My reset.
Hang on.
No, wait. Machines are open on the motion to approve item 72. Motion carries.
Item 73, authorizing settlement of the matter entitled Tynesha Lanes versus Department of Public Works et al. In an amount of $75,000 plus court costs in the amount of $106.50 for a total amount of $75,106.50 and appropriating $75,106.50 for such purpose by the parish attorney. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
Who didn't? Yes, you did.
Seeing none, we'll go to council. Do we have a motion? Motion by Councilman Hurst. Oh, you want to go into executive session? No. Second by Councilman Dunn Jr. Anyone opposed? I'm opposed. Dwight, you're opposed? You're 3? Okay. Vote on the machines.
We're going to vote on the machines on item 73. Machines are open on the motion to approve item 73. Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Item 74, accepting the recommendation. Oh, sorry, we did that one already. Apologize. We're not going to redo that one. 75, a resolution of the East Baton Rouge Parish Sewage Commission approving the 2-year appointment of Ashley Beck, Council Administrator Treasurer, as Director to the Board of Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority by the Council Administrator Treasurer. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. Motion by Councilwoman Coleman, second by Councilman Hurst. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Item 76, a resolution of the Metropolitan Council of the City of Baton Rouge, Parish of East Baton Rouge, approving 2-year appointment of Ashley Beck, Council Administrator Treasurer, as Director of the Board of Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority by the Council Administrator Treasurer. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilwoman Amorosa. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations again. Appointments, number 77, Hospital Service District Number 1, Board of Commissioners, Lane Regional Medical Center. Consideration of replacing or reappointing Thomas Smith Jr., whose term expires June 28th, effective June 29th, 2025. This is a 4-year term. Current ballot is Thomas Scott Jr. requesting reappointment. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Oh, it is. Yeah, it's supposed to be Thomas Scott on both. Seeing none, we'll go to council. Make a motion by chair, second by Councilwoman Adams. Any opposed? Motion carries. Change orders. Item 78. East Baton Rouge Parish Library, New South Branch Library, contractor Ratcliffe Construction Company, LLC. Additional days, 147 for time added to reconcile finish of work with the final acceptance. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Rocca, second by Councilwoman Adams. Any opposed? Motion carries. Final acceptance is 79. WO131453, RQ11350, project number HVAC equipment at BR Archives Unit, contractor Train US Inc. Final cost $224,899.26. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, go to council. We have a motion by Councilwoman Adams. We have a second. Second by Councilman Moak. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 80, East Baton Rouge Parish New South Branch Library, contractor Ratcliffe Construction Company. Final cost $8,592,660. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, go to council. We have a motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilwoman Harris. Any opposed? Motion carries. Acceptance of low bids. 81, NWWTP Trickling Filter Upgrade Phase 2, low bid Owen Earthworks LLC, $2,199,998. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. Motion by Councilwoman Adams, second by Councilman Moak. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 82, Sales Tax Street and Road Rehabilitation Program Project 19-7, Hollywood Street, Airline the Scenic, and Evangeline Street, Airline and Baton Rouge Avenue, Barber Brothers Construction Company LLC, $3,153,547 is a low bid. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to council. We have a motion. Motion by Councilman Kenny. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Adams. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is that it? Councilwoman Amorosa. Meeting's adjourned. Any announcements? Yes, ma'am.
On Friday, June 13th at 6 p.m., we will be pedaling for peace. We will be starting at Shoppers Value, riding to Howell Park on Windburn, and then riding back to Shoppers Value. So we're asking department heads, I think we've contacted department heads. We're asking the mayor's staff, and I think some have agreed to join us. Mason? Mason? Chief? LaDuff? Make sure you have your bike, and make sure you have your mind right. Motorcycle, okay. Yes. And my colleagues, I have some of my colleagues have agreed to join us. Councilman Moak? Oh, no excuses. You're always there. Rowdy is there. Councilman Coleman is there. Hudson is there. Oh, no, Hudson said earlier, I have to consider. Beck said no.
Check with
she
my
doesn't want to
wife.
hang with it. Mayor Pro Tem, no. What's the problem?
I'll see about sending a proxy. I'm not sure.
The posse. Councilman Dunn is going to be there. So we're asking the city of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish to please join us. Councilwoman Adams, what about yourself? Oh, okay, so you get an excuse. Burgess will be there, and some other folks in the house, but we're gonna have a great time. Rain, snow, sleet, or hurricane, we're rolling. We're rolling. June 13th on a bike, yes ma'am. Starting point, Shoppers Value. Please come out and support this great event. What's wrong? You need me to do what?